What's up, Big Ten fans? Michael Dugan here from internsbig10.com. You hopefully just listened to our podcast, and that's what brings you here for our video predictions. We did not have those in the podcast because we're trying to stick to a routine here. We do our video predictions every Friday before each game weekend, I should say. So let's start this one off. The first game, we have 2 noon games. Actually, we have 4 or 5. Wow, looking down the list, there were more than I thought. The majority of the games this week are going to be at noon. We've got Ball State and Indiana. This is an in-state matchup, and the line for this game has actually moved in favor of Indiana, which has caught me off guard because I think it opened at Indiana by 2 touchdowns, and what I see right now is Indiana by 15. I did not think that was going to be the case after Ball State's performance last week in South Bend against Notre Dame. People in Vegas know something that we don't. They're usually right. I don't know why the spread is this big. I think this is going to be a good game. Riley Neal's a talented passer, but I like Indiana to win this one. It's going to be close, maybe a touchdown or 10 points, but this is going to be a good game, but I think Indiana wins this. Kent State and Penn State, that's a snooze button. This next game is a snooze button, but for very different reasons. Rutgers is traveling to Lawrence, Kansas to play the Jayhawks. Man, this is going to be some bad football. I'm sorry to say that, but this is going to be some bad football. This is probably a game between 2 teams that the country generally thinks are the 2 worst programs in major college football right now. Right now, I think Rutgers is on the upswing, but for right now, I'd like Rutgers to go in there and win this game. Kansas favored by 2.5. I think Rutgers has more talent. They're pretty well coached with Chris Ash. I think he's got them going in the right direction. They've got a lot of humps to get over, but I think Rutgers is a better coached team, and I think they have more talent. So give me the Knights in this one. Temple and Maryland, I got Maryland by a lot. That team's rolling right now. Troy and Nebraska, don't sleep on Troy. They beat LSU in Baton Rouge last year, but I got Nebraska winning this one. Akron and Northwestern under the lights at Ryan Field. The students are back, I believe, at Northwestern. The classes haven't started yet, but I think the students are moving in this week or early next week. So hopefully they'll be there for that one. Akron, not your best MAC team, not the best MAC team out there. Maybe not even the best MAC team that's going on the road to play a Big Ten team this weekend. Northwestern's favored by about 3 touchdowns right now. I don't touch the spread that big, but I like Northwestern to bounce back and win this one. You heard my thoughts on their performance last weekend on the podcast. If you haven't, go listen to the podcast and you'll see what I think. BYU, Wisconsin, that's usually a trap game for Wisconsin. Trap game for anyone whenever they go to play BYU. Badgers went on the road last year and handled them in Utah, but I like Wisconsin. There's just too much push on that offensive line. Jonathan Taylor's too good, and that defense is too ferocious. I just don't see how they could lose this game, pending nothing short of a miracle, quite honestly. SMU travels to Michigan. SMU really, really bad. Really, really bad. Michigan got a little something going last week against Western Michigan. I think they continue that. They're favored by almost 40 right now. I think this is a snooze button win for Michigan, and I don't expect anything less. Miami, Ohio, traveling to the Twin Cities to play the Gophers. I like Minnesota in this one. They're starting to figure things out week by week. They have a long way to go, but I think for right now they're on the upswing, and I like what PJ Fleck's doing so far. I don't love it, but I like it. South Florida and Illinois. This one's at Soldier Field. Man, Illinois needs to stay as far away from Chicago as they can because the product they have on the field right now is not going to bring in any fans whatsoever. And South Florida is really, really good. They could go undefeated this year. They're 2-0. Charlie Strong's got that program really, really in a great spot right now. This is a good team in South Florida. Blake Barnett is a good quarterback. He's thrown 5 touchdowns on the year. I'd like South Florida by double digits in this one. I just don't know what kind of home field advantage Illinois is going to have. Missouri and Purdue. Charlie said it on the podcast this week. This game was very lopsided in favor of Purdue last year. We're probably going to see quite the opposite this week. I think Missouri handles them. Drew Lock is one of the best quarterbacks in the entire country, and Purdue just seems a little lost right now. I think they'll get it back on track. They're not a lost cause, but they've played 2 home games and lost them both, and you could argue they should be 2-0 right now, but they're 0-2. They get this one at home. If they lose their 3rd straight home game, I don't like where Purdue is going this season. This is going to be a close game, but I have Missouri. Northern Iowa is going to Iowa City to play the Hawkeyes. I think we all know what's going to happen here, pending, again, a miracle. And now the big one, 8 o'clock, primetime, ABC, Ohio State TCU in Arlington and Jerry World. Right now, Ohio State 13-point favorites in Arlington. That may seem surprising to you. It shouldn't be. This team is way too good. This Ohio State team, offensively speaking, is probably the most talented team that we have seen from Ohio State, from top to bottom, from that center, Michael Jordan, that offensive line, Paris Campbell with that perimeter speed, Mike Weber, J.K. Dobbins in the backfield, and Dwayne Haskins, who almost has as many touchdowns as incompletions through 2 games. That is a ridiculous statistic. That's not going to continue. That's going to get a little further away this weekend, I think. I mean, if it doesn't, he should be the front runner for the Heisman already. But, I mean, he's a tremendous thrower, and I just don't see how Ohio State's going to lose this game. And that's nothing against TCU. I think they're a tremendous team, tremendously underlooked or underappreciated and overlooked. I think that this is one of the better Gary Patterson teams, and they came out swinging in week 1. They came out swinging last week against SMU, I believe. I talked a little bit about this on the podcast, so go and tune in that. But this is a good TCU team. It really is. I think they're going to come out. They're going to punch Ohio State right in the mouth. But at the end of the day, I think Ohio State's just too talented everywhere, especially offensively, to lose this game. So give me the Buckeyes in this one. Maybe double digits, but I think it's going to be a good game for the majority of the time. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. We got a good weekend of football, and we are 1 week closer to conference play. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week.